By late afternoon, several members of the Islam family had fled to the coastal village of Bogadia, just outside Sitwe. Mohammed told his niece that they should leave for Bangladesh. It was in the coastal village of Bogadia that Anwara finally found her husband.
Itera hora talai ko jide durma itera hora ar bedi phone hora talai gori saide itera ki mori gine ki bashe talai gori saide se farada ko dogon man talai gori fusar lotai ye fusar gori saide itera hora bade sorat gi goi
kalana lene be thori da le sale ji ji tazin zin ne bi phonji ro yakhai de ka tu ro Yachi mani bi sale ji ji ne ni nong lai lo ma ya bu la da so kala de pong thi ma be da me yakhai de ka ai lo ma the ba bu
Hamid Jamil had remained in his house since Friday. Then a unit of Nasaka border guards arrived at his door.
Dinner dutar hore are gottu Bade talasine gulo hoyara petrol lasine gulo hoyara maiki petrol kuji petrol aja tamai dino fari bade are matai ara gor ulan man lamai gottu matai ara bade bodu hor ayara pon hor filan maji batu ko maji na sakar kanti maji lo jai kondani ala yaro are kondadero boagarai.
After begging for his life, he was thrown into an open yard.
Tala diaro ba de moguri hoto no etu no maji safa se ba dai kor maslier de agi amburi.
Nearby in Mongdor, Janat Ara was forced to leave the town's hospital due to the unrest. Relatives told her to flee to a better equipped facility across the border.
Hospital gala yar didi rekil didi no hore dai lunti okolo de yamala de rar moge tahin to lo yar se arba in ekana gusin tun no lo yare barguri yare de choladar.
Myanmar and Bangladesh are separated at their southernmost border by the Naf River. The headquarters of the Rakhine Border Forces, the Nasaka, lies on its banks. Within a month, thousands of refugees crossed here, mostly during the night. The refugees bribe the Nasaka border guards, who are then prepared to allow the Rohingya to flee to Bangladesh. People smugglers ensure they avoid Bangladesh border guards. The Islam family had not paid smugglers and faced the perils of the sea. They reached the Bangladeshi coastal village of Zinzara, but border guards caught them.
Aba dura di bara zinjira bargi zinjira teta ta zinjira fulgara ta tara se abarike dura di ikkitira sara ekkeshwa ta biriya ta abarike dura di enle leda steam din hojindara sadin hojindara do yamba bashi.
In Rakhine State, a curfew was imposed and the security forces began the arbitrary detention of young Rohingya men. Aman Mahmood was in bed when paramilitaries burst into his room.
তুই জায়গায় দুরুমাদে নিয়ে লাই আর বিবির লাতি মাঝে দৌগো দুরুমাদে নিয়ে লাই রেহিন ফিসাদ বানি হলাই এই সাতজন গুলি দুই মাথা যায় ফিসাদ বানিয়ে খুব বেশি মাঝিহীন ঘরের ভিতরে আর ঘরের স্ত্রী দুও গুরু গুরু বাসা আছে ফোয়ানির হাঁদের বাদে খুব বেশি মারাধারা করি আবার বারে নিয়ে লাই রে মাঝি এটা সাজ পয়লা না জমিটা জি সাইড দিয়ে আবার 8-9 পর্যন্ত আর ঘরে ডাকাত তো মানুষ সকল নিয়ে লাই হচ্ছে
Zahid Alam and his family were at home trying to contact their son, who'd been to Sitwe to pick up supplies for the family shop. A friend then telephoned. He'd had word from Zahid's son.
আমার বাবাকে বললা দেন আমরা যে গ্রামে আছি সব জায়গার থেকে মগে ঘেরে ফেলেছে সব জায়গার একদম ঘেরা আগুন জ্বালাইছে আমরা কি 1 ঘন্টা থাকি নাকি আধা ঘন্টা থাকি 5 মিনিট থাকি আমাদের কোনো কিছু বিশ্বাস নাই আমাদের আব্বাকে আমাদের মাফ করে দিতে বলেন আমার জন্য দোয়া করতে বলেন
Aman Mahmood had spent the night in a police cell in Mongdor.
তে বেশি মাইরে কল আরসিনা আছে দরি মতর গো গুড়ি রঙের কুলু ফুন্দার গো বাড়ি মাঝে না আতুসিনা ফলা পুরো দিল বেশি ইয়ানা তু বেশি বেশি আতনিতে বেশি লাগে ইনা না না আতুস পাস ফলা পুরো দিল বেশি গুড়ি ফুন্দালের মাঝে দরি মতর মাঝে হারিবে ইজারা তো কোনো কিছু মরা আর আল্লাহ নাই আর মানি কোন দিল জুলুম গজে গলে কে মানি আল্লাহ বাসে কে না জানে
Hamid Jamil was still recovering from his injuries and staying with friends in a village near his home, but it offered no sanctuary. On Monday afternoon, Nasaka border guards and police arrived.
তোমার ফারা তোমার গিরি ফেলাইয়ে হুকুমতে ফারা গিরি ফেলাইয়ার বাদে ফারার টন মানুষ কল লেটার কল ধরে ফেলে বড় বড় লোক ধরে ফেলাই ধরে ফেলানোর জরিয়া বাদে সুন্দর সারা শিলে হিতার ধরে বলে তারি তারা দুইজে বাদে গুলি চালাইয়ে হুকুমতে
Villagers fled toward a nearby creek.
খাল ফারাইছে আর বাদে গোড়া গোড়া বাচ্চা কল বাফর ফিসে ফিসে দুইজে কেসু গুলি খাইয়ে কেসু খালাম মাছ জাম মারি আর করে ফারাইয়ে গোড়া গোড়া বাচ্চা কলে বেকন খালাম মাঝে 20-25 জন পর্যন্ত তারা খালাম মায় মরে গিয়ে গুলি খাইয়ে দেখি ইন্ডিয়া আছে মরি আরো পাশে আরো উড়ে গিয়ে থয় থার বাসে রাতিয়া মগরির আগতো যে তোমার মিলিটারি যে তোমার যে সাহারি আর যে তোমার ফুকর পাশে স্কুল মারি গিয়ে থয় বাদে মরা খালতো তুই আর মরা মাসে জাল টানি আর ডুবিরে দেখেন জাল টানি আর ঠেলা জাল হজুন আছে
Aman Mahmood would soon be released after family members paid a bribe. Others were less fortunate.
কারাতের ভিতরে 6 জন মানুষ মুর্দা সব গরি মানে এডে মানে মরা নিয়ে আলাইয়ে তো মুর্দা নিয়ে আলাইয়ে হিন হড়ে নিয়ে গই তারা মুর্দারে নিয়ে আলাইয়ে তারা আছে সাড়া ফাড়ার মধ্যে ইংরেজ হাজার দুজনে দুটা উত্তর ধরে নিয়ে আলাইয়ে হঁকে নিয়ে হই না পারি আড্ডি ভাঙা প্রায় তারা মাঝে দে এর মাথা ফাড়াই আছে মাথা ফাড়াই দেখি খুব বেশি মারা ধরা দেখি
Hamid Jamil had witnessed the death of 35 people. They were buried secretly at night.
আর নিজে বাজে খবর সাংমাই নিজে গিয়ে নিজে যাই আরো বাদ এখনো আর এখানে গুছি এখনো হেড এখনো মারা গেছে নে বলি আর নিজে গিয়ে গো নিজে যাই আরো সাহায্য এখানে গুছি ন পরে নিজের যে বন্ধু বান্ধব মানুষ তারা মারা গেছে মারা যায় আরো মানুষ এক গাঁতের মাঝে গাঁত করি আরো মানুষ ব্যাগুন তখন নিজে বাজে আসছিলাম
We cannot independently verify everything the Rohingya refugees told Aljazeera. We were unable to work freely or enter parts of Rakhine State, but their testimony is detailed and compelling. After the violence in June, many of those who didn't flee abroad are now in camps on the outskirts of Sitwe. Their movement is restricted. They have become refugees in their own country. In this village north of Sitwe, Rohingya must not go beyond the nearby road. Men are not allowed to work in fields or women shop in the markets.
Singa mata jono e kawi lo pe ba e lu fu bi dama tayo na sa tong le lu yare e no na ya la ngeni ba te mi masa bi do ele kon di pa ba.
In Sittwe, only one enclave remained for Rohingya called Ongmingala. They are fenced in and cannot leave. They too cannot work or buy food. Their future is uncertain. Ong Win, like most here, was born and brought up in Sittwe.
We are the native of this country, you know. We are not the migrated people from Bangladesh.
Where can you go?
No, I do not want to. I will die here, ready to die. We are the people.
Rakhine nationalists dispute the Rohingya's claims of abuse. They have another explanation as to why so many thousands have left their homes and possessions and fled to camps. There is a common belief amongst the Rakhine that the outside world has been tricked by Rohingya refugees. Rakhine nationalists claim the Rohingya have concocted a massive deception in order to discredit the Rakhine and ultimately seize power.
Tomorrow, we will see the credit. Check Pandita. Udaro, Janotimari, here generally, Jimashima. Tomorrow, the day Kia, the Pandimu Jame, Nalimu, Luyan, the Pandita, Usabare, Elumio Jarakata, General, Miule Eugene, General. The views of the Rakhine have been shaped by generations of conflict between the two groups. But in the late 1980s, the government began a project of institutional discrimination, following demands made by Rakhine nationalists. In a secret memorandum written in 1988 and obtained by Aljazeera, Rakhine nationalists drew up detailed plans to undermine the ability of the Rohingya to live in Myanmar. It included restricting their movement, limiting educational opportunities. It also tried to control their birth rate.
মনে করেন জন্ম দিছি জন্ম দেওয়ার সাথে সাথে টাকা 10-15,000 টাকা দিতে হয়
ওগমায়া বুয়া যদি হরো দেয়া হয় দরখাস্ত দেয়া হয় দরখাস্ত ফুয়াতি টিয়া 6000 টিয়া দেয়া হয় 6000 টিয়া দি ফারদেহিতে দের দিন ফারদেহিতে সুরখা যদি নাকা যদি গজলে বা দেহিতারে হুকুমত জিয়ল করে জিয়ল 5 বছর জিয়ল করে
Myanmar's military government then sealed off 2 northern townships where about 90% of the population is Rohingya. For nearly 2 decades, this area has been cut off from the outside world.
In that letter is clearly mentioned the people in Maundo districts, they are illegal intruder. They said since they are neither citizens nor ethnic people of Myanmar, therefore their travel should be restricted.
3 months after the rioting, Aljazeera arranged for a concealed camera to be taken into Mongdor township. The streets are quiet. Schools remain shut. Mosques were closed. Under an emergency law, no more than 5 people are allowed to congregate, even to pray. One imam was ordered to lock his compound. Yu Shui Mong had just visited his constituency of Butidong.
People are full of fear. So I asked why you have fear. So almost all people answered to me. So they don't know when they will be arrested by the police. Anytime police can arrest. They said when houses are burning, when the Muslims come out, they say police shot them.
Ong Win believes the crisis has been triggered by the Rakhine Nationalist Party, the RNDP, and their leader, Dr. Among.
He is the only one person who is, because he is the leader of the RNDP party. You know, he called all other RNDP party members from Tango, Pungnaju and Rau. They all gathered here and started killing.
Do you think he's responsible for the killing?
Yes, he's the only one person for killing us Rohingya people. I can challenge him in front, face to face. I can prove him. Then I'm not lying the wall. You will take my picture and my interview to show the wall. I'm not lying the wall.
In July, Dr. Among and the RNDP released a statement demanding that Bengali people should be relocated to suitable places in order not to reside or mix with Rakhines.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့ဒေသတည်မြဲဖို့အတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့ရခိုင်မျိုးနွယ်စုအကုန်လုံးရဲ့ယင်ထင်မှာရှိပါတယ်။မိသည့်မျိုးနွယ်စုကိုမှကျွန်တော်တို့ကတက်ခိုက်လို့စိတ်ခုနလိုရန်လိုမုန်းတီးစိတ်လည်းမရှိပါဘူး။ကိုယ့်မြေကိုယ့်ဒေသတည်တံ့ခိုင်မြဲပြီးကမှနော်ကိုတို့ရဲ့တာဝန်တစ်ခုသမိုင်းမှာတွင်ကြံဖို့ပဲကြိုးစားနေတာပါ။အဲ့တော့ပြည်ပကနေမျိုးစုံနဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ရဲ့ဒီမိမိဒေသကိုမိမိနော်ရက်တည်မှုရှိအောင်နော်စူးစမ်းနေကြတဲ့အခြေအနေမှာဟိုညီမျိုးစုံနဲ့သတင်းထုတ်လွှင့်တာရှိပါတယ်ဒါကလည်းပဲပြန်တွက်ကြည့်ရင်လေခုနလိုဖန်တီးတဲ့လူတွေအပေါ်မှာပဲတည်ပါလိမ့်မယ်
When I interview with the people in Sitwe, in Maundo, they told me, they said these all conflicts are led by these RNDP party members. So when everybody are saying like that, so that could be true.
The Myanmar government has set up a commission of inquiry to examine the cause of the violence in June. There are no Rohingya representatives, but one of the investigators is Dr. Among. As the country opens to the outside world after decades of isolation, the icon of Myanmar's democracy, Aung San Suu Kyi, has refused to support the right of the Rohingya to citizenship and has remained quiet about their plight. Myanmar is a union of more than 100 ethnic groups. 3 decades ago, a law restricted citizenship to groups that lived here before the British invasion. That excluded the Rohingya, whose ancestors mostly arrived during colonial rule. At a conference in the capital Yangon, delegates met to discuss what it means to be a citizen of newly democratic Myanmar. Dr. A. Chan is a Rakhine historian and democracy activist who was forced into exile by the military junta.
That's our ancestral land. We cannot share that land, for an alien immigrants. I am not anti-Islam or anti-Muslim, but people are afraid now. The country or state has responsibility to protect Buddhism and the welfare of the people.
As Rakhine nationalism grew bolder, a body of literature emerged that tried to deny the existence of the Rohingya as an ethnic group. Dr. A. Chan described the migration of ancestors of the Rohingya to Rakhine state as a virus. Professor William Shabas is one of the foremost legal experts on genocide.
Rather occasionally, fortunately so, we encounter situations where actually the persecution goes beyond simply racist oppression, but is aimed at the extermination of the group. The destruction is the word that's used in Article 2 of the Genocide Convention. So what you're looking for is not simply that the acts themselves, such as killing, were carried out intentionally, which is not usually very difficult to establish, but that they were also carried out with a special or specific intent, which was to destroy the group.
There are 400,000 Rohingya languishing in Bangladesh. For more than 3 decades, waves of refugees have fled Myanmar. They receive little aid, and only a small number are officially recognized as refugees by Bangladesh. For decades, human rights groups have chronicled abuses committed by the regime in Myanmar. But Aljazeera's investigation suggests that the treatment of the Rohingya could extend to the most serious crime under international law: genocide.
I'm always cautious about sort of cavalier use of the term, because it does suffer from a great deal of rather extravagant use of the term, precisely because of its potential as a word to get people's attention. But I don't think that there's much difficulty in asserting that in the case of the Rohingya, that we're moving into a zone where the word can be used. When you see measures preventing births, trying to deny the identity of a people, hoping to see that they really are eventually, that they no longer exist, denying their history, denying the legitimacy of their right to live where they live, these are all warning signs that mean that it's not frivolous to envisage the use of the term genocide.
So what do you do with the people? 800,000, maybe more. What do you do with them?
It's a very difficult question. It's a very delicate problem. I know everybody has human rights. Human rights is there. They must have human rights. But sometimes we have to realize that the Constitution and national sovereignty sometimes clash with human rights.
In late 2012, US President Barack Obama traveled to Myanmar to meet his counterpart Thein Sein. Following reforms and the release of political prisoners, Myanmar has been praised for its newfound respect for human rights. It has been largely overlooked that President Thein Sein considers most Rohingya illegal immigrants who should be deported. It took 4 days on the open sea for Mohammed Islam and his family to reach Bangladesh. They found sanctuary, but left behind their homes, livelihood, and loved ones. The Bangladesh government considers the Rohingya illegal immigrants, as does the government of Myanmar. They have no legal rights and nowhere to go. Minara's father is losing hope. Janat Ara's friends had raised enough money to send her to Bangladesh. She was taken to Chittagong, the country's second city. As a result of her rape, she contracted kidney disease and aborted a pregnancy.
Zina chining busy niara niara da bai should body. The home for Liara can go junduji.
Zahid Alam's family never found his son's body.
Abi kare Bangladesh Islam. Our pastor bhaiya abi ekjon 7.5 বছর আমার বয়স হয়ে গেছে আমি তো অনেক সুখী সংসার ভালো করে বেচা কিনা করে দোকান করে খাইতাম মানুষ আমি এখানে জঙ্গলে বসে
4-5টা মেয়ালে আমি কিভাবে চলবো, আমার কি উপায় হবে, এটা তো আমি চিন্তা করছি। আমার মতন অনেক রোহিঙ্গা আমাদের মতো কষ্টতে আছে।